All right, I'll call this meeting of the Sheffield Board of Selectmen for April 22nd, 2025 to order. The first item on the agenda is a whole lot of minutes. A whole lot of minutes.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes of January 16th, February 27th, March 3rd, 13th, 17th, 19th, 24th, and 27th.
Are you
Two
willing to
sets on the
second all those?
24th and 2 sets on the 27th.
Oh, yes.
And on the 17th.
And then the 17th.
Yeah, we've only had just a few meetings.
Just a few.
So, is that a second?
And I will second, but I will also abstain from March 13th. I was not there.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the minutes as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
With Mr. Kilmer abstaining on the 13th. Next item on the agenda is action regarding appointment to the Ashley Falls Historic District Commission. Rhonda?
So you have an email from Ren Marasco,
yeah.
who would like to serve on the Ashley Falls Historic District Commission. He's lived in Ashley Falls for almost has lived in Ashley Falls for almost 2 decades, and would like to serve on the committee.
And there is an opening.
There's an opening because Ann Dunn
Right.
stepped down, so this is perfect timing. And this came out of an AFHDC or an APHIS meeting that we mentioned it in, and she volunteered.
Okay.
Excellent.
I'd happily make a motion to appoint Ren Maresco.
And I'll second that.
Ren Maresco.
Yes.
Motion made and seconded to appoint Ren Maresco to the Ashley Falls Historic District Commission. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Great. Moving on. Discussion regarding donation of land in Berkshire Lake Estates. So we received an email from a gentleman offering us, is it 2 lots, Rhonda? You have 2 lots.
It's 2 lots.
They don't seem to be near each other.
I have a map here. I'll show you what they. So they're the ones highlighted in yellow.
Uh-huh. So I thought it was interesting that someone would want to donate. So my consideration on that would be, I think if he wants to turn them over deed in lieu of foreclosure, so that we can add them to the next auction. There's nothing the town's going to do with 2 small lots. But if we own it, then we can auction it off.
And the taxes haven't been paid in 24 or 25.
Yeah, so we would have to go through the expense of doing a tax title taking. So why spend that money if we can get them deed in lieu of foreclosure if legal's in support of that? That would be my recommendation. Any?
Certainly makes sense to me.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we pursue deed in lieu of foreclosure through legal.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item on the agenda is action regarding the Community Preservation Act bylaw amendment. Apparently, legal did a little redlining.
A little.
So Rhonda, can you tell us the highlights here?
So I just gave you the 2 pages of it. They made a lot of correction on wording, where we had put voters in rather than legislative body, and they changed that to just town meeting. So that was one of the change. They didn't like when you listed the membership, the last clause, or until they're no longer on the commission, whatever is less. They took that off of each one. But the biggest thing they said was, we had, at the last meeting, you decided between 7 and 9 or 5 and 7, whatever your choice was there. And they say no, it has to be the exact number. So they've put 7 in here.
Okay.
Okay. The next change that they made is we have a historical commission, so we can't say historical commission or Ashley Falls Historic District Commission. If we have a historic commission, then that's what needs to be listed.
Okay.
Okay. They also added 1 member of the recreation committee, because by law that's supposed to be in there. I've sent over to legal and asked them what happens because we really don't have a recreation committee. They haven't answered me yet, so I've left it this way. And so then that would come down to leaving two, it says citizens at large. They've suggested that maybe it say resident, but the warrant's printed and signed, so I don't know if you want to make that change or make a motion at town meeting to make that change. I don't know how important they feel it is. He just said, the proposed bylaw uses the word citizen. It may be appropriate to utilize the word resident or voter to provide additional clarity of the town's intention.
So we couldn't have a landowner who doesn't reside here. Like currently on the Cultural Commission, we have Todd McKenzie, who's not a resident. So would citizen,
Citizen, I would think, would cover him, but the other two word resident or voter.
so I think having that as expansive of a definition for us is probably useful, given our difficulties sometimes of filling these positions, right?
Yeah, I think it's important for us to know whether it has to be a registered
Voter.
It does not the way you have it worded, which is why he suggested that you do.
Oh, I think it's to our advantage that it isn't. I don't know.
Well, I think it could be to our advantage that it isn't, as long as the state law doesn't prevent it from
Right.
being that way. That's what I'm thinking, is if the state CPA
Yeah.
has a different interpretation. So I think we need to get that clarified.
So this, Renee, I think you modeled your version of the bylaw off of the state, and you had conversation with Stuart about that?
Shall I stand?
Please.
Renee Wood, 93 Boardman Street. We, at a previous meeting, had discussed the problem between the Historic Commission and the Ashley Falls, and I thought we had resolved
We
that.
did.
But the lawyer didn't accept that, yeah.
Oh, but the lawyer did, okay, so we had resolved that, I think, the same way that they did. I modeled this after what's on the Community Preservation website,
Okay.
as well as what's in the actual law.
So citizen was in there in Renee's version, so it must be acceptable to the state CPA and the law.
It has to be acceptable to the Attorney General in the end, but supposedly what this was modeled after has been.
Right.
But I think, if I heard correctly, the Recreation Committee is required, but we don't have one. So rather than, if I were to write this again to be absolutely consistent with the law, I would put the Recreation Committee, if it exists, in parentheses. Otherwise, you're holding a spot for one person
On something that
that
doesn't
doesn't
exist.
necessarily
But-
exist.
Yeah, but we need to find out from the attorney if that's acceptable, right? I have a little concern around the Historic Commission, which often, like, they're supposed to have somebody on the Ashley Falls Village or Historic District Commission, and we've never had anyone. So what happens if somebody's not willing to take this on in one of these committees?
The state has set that as those are the people that
Okay.
have to be there, so I don't know if we have any say over particular ones that
All right.
are on there.
So we would appoint somebody, and they may or may not show up, is I guess how that would work?
And I don't think it calls out at all in the law, historic district commissions. It's like we have the Ashley Falls Historic District Commission, but those historic district commissions are not mentioned. It's this historic
Right.
commission, and we have one of each, and that's the confusion
Yeah.
is to go with this.
Well, I think that's perfectly clear. It's supposed to be someone from the Historical Commission, and we have to get rid of the Ashley Falls Historic District Commission. If someone from the Ashley Falls Historic District Commission wishes to serve, they should request appointment to the
Other
Historical
position.
Commission. That's,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
I
that's
think
a-
it's a simple enough situation here.
Yeah.
We don't have to make this harder than it already is, you know.
Yeah.
And it would be great if someone wanted to serve in that capacity, you know. But if there's two people at the Historical Commission who want to serve, then they can
Decided
I
to.
was
they
just
can have
trying
an
to-
election.
I was just trying to remember what the other points were that the KP Law brought up.
Citizen versus registered voter.
Citizen versus registered voter, or resident.
Well, I know we can have residents, we could have a resident on the Housing Commission because, but not a registered voter, because it's not elected. Okay.
So I say we just let town council guide us.
And if
As-
citizens find, let's
He
leave
didn't
it.
make that change.
Okay.
He left it for you to talk about and
Okay.
decide if you wanted to or not. So right now, it says citizen.
I think we leave it.
Yeah, I'm
I do
fine
too.
with citizen.
I think we leave it. I mean, I think there are, first of all, we can't require people who live in town to be a registered voter to serve on a committee unless it's an elected
Yeah.
position. You know, and I think we're limiting
I
ourselves
think
that
anything we can
way.
do to facilitate
Yeah.
not limiting
Yeah.
the pool of applicants.
I think we
is
leave
key,
it
yeah.
as two citizens.
I don't remember if I would have put it in along requiring a registered voter. I would have put that
Right.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She would have, that's why I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I
it
think
says
he just
citizen.
wanted us to think about it to make sure that that's really what we wanted it to
Yeah.
say. Okay.
So maybe you have to reestablish a park committee or a recreation
Yeah.
committee and try to get members to be on that and then apply to be here.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've always thought that we were kind of shortchanging ourselves by not having a recreation committee. We had to go that way because nobody was willing to really serve on it but one person, and that's not a committee. So, you know, I mean, yeah. So, you know, maybe the board considers it as something that we add back in. Everything else looked,
The rest of it was
And we have a
just
little bit of
simple
time to do
language
that because we're not
changes.
giving away money next week.
Correct.
Yeah.
correct. This is gonna be a developing
Yeah, yeah,
situation as this whole process comes to us. You know, it's gonna be a while before we have any money to spend, so everything else seems like it's just language changes.
It
and-
was, there was nothing else that was anything.
Okay. So we need a motion to accept the changes as presented by legal.
So moved.
And to move it onto the warrant, or, yes,
So moved.
seconded,
All
sorry.
those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thanks, Bob. Lee. Update on the highway garage project.
I don't think we really have one.
I didn't
They
think,
kind of keep it on there as a reminder, so
As
if
a
we get
filler.
something new.
yeah, we haven't had any meetings since the last meeting. We're kind of waiting for the design committee, the designer to finish their work on getting estimates for us and then moving forward. That's kind of where we're at. Board member items. Bob?
Nothing.
Lee?
None.
Okay. Rhonda?
No.
No town administrator items? Public comment? Renee?
Renee Ward again. I wanted to, first of all, thank the board for sponsoring the 2 trash pickups that were this weekend. The Ashley Falls Trash Hunt and the Sheffield Clean Sweep. Also, all those who participated in our highway department for picking up all the bags. The roads really look nice today. The second thing I wanted to do, and I will be getting a poster that's a little bit more up to date, to ask the board to allow to be put on the website. But I think, so I don't want to show it necessarily to the camera, I want to show it to you. I think following up on your conversation with the South County Connector, they are doing a pickup every hour starting at 10 a.m. through 6 p.m. at the Sheffield Village Green. And it's a collective, not a single person getting in the van, it's whoever is there, and it's $1 cheaper, okay? And there are certain different things about 2 miles, drop you off 2 miles off Route 7 and all the rest of the time. But I just wanted to let you know about this. This operates at 9:30 a.m. until 6:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and this is a direct result of your conversation, okay? The last thing I just wanted to mention is that spring is here, and composting is coming into vogue again, and the town does still have the home composting bins, which are $25 each, and they're subsidized at that price. And all you have to do is go on the Sheffield website, go to the recycling and solid waste on the department button and go to the home composting, and there's a form which you can fill out and you can send in, and Abby knows how to do all the work related to that. So, and if you want 2 composting bins, you can have 2 for $50, because we do have a few extra. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Anyone else? Okay, so there being no other business, I need a motion to adjourn our public meeting and to go into executive session where discussing an open meeting may present a conflict for us.
I would make a motion that we adjourn the meeting and move into executive session.
There is a whole line that we are supposed to read to go into executive session on the,
She's fine with what she
are we okay?
Yep.
Okay. Then I'll second that.
Thanks. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Can you amend that motion?
Can I make a motion to include Renee?
yes, to
In the
include Renee to
executive
stay, yes,
session.
of course.
And not to come.
And not to
back.
return back to open meeting.